Congratulations! If you've passed the application process and now onto the interview. Or maybe you're just watching this to be extra prepared. How's it going, guys? I'm Mickey and this is how to ace the jet interview. You hear a lot of foreigners saying that they had 2 weeks to prepare or 3 weeks to prepare. Well, I got my call February 1st and the interview was scheduled for February 10th. That was barely over a week. I had one pre-interview task that was to create a lesson plan. I will not be going into detail over that. The only other thing you need is the interview voucher. They will email you this, you print it out, and you need to attach a passport size photo to this. They asked us to bring an extra one, but that was for an activity. I'll touch on that later. So you must be super excited. So let's just go straight to the structure of this video. I'm going to talk about attire, my experience, vaguely going over the questions, and finally I'll impart my wonderful wisdom. Attire. This is a proper job interview. Dress the part. So I'm gonna stick a picture here. Do not make fun of me. I know I look kind of dorky, but this is what I wore for the interview. I wore a black suit, purple blouse, black shoes with a small heel. I wore my hair in a ponytail. I wore no nail polish, no perfume, no jewelry. I wore my glasses instead of contacts. I borrowed my sister's bag to put my interview voucher in because I did not have a proper purse, as well as I did very natural light makeup. So I chose this outfit based off of the feedback I was getting from other videos. It was basically to kind of conform to Japanese interview attire. What I adapted from this specifically was the dark color clothing, hair away from the face in a ponytail, as well as no perfume. I specifically wore a suit because it was my mom's. I was so busy doing the pre-interview task that I didn't have time to shop, nor did I really want to spend like a whole set of money. So I borrowed her suit. I got a purple blouse. I wanted to incorporate color in a appropriate way. You're not supposed to like be super flashy or flamboyant. So having this purple blouse was like my little hint of color to express myself, especially since I was coming across as a creative person. I also want to say that even though it was like a v-neck, there was no visible cleavage. While I was waiting, I got to see the other candidates. So the other women had on blouses and skirts. I only saw two guys. The first one was wearing a white shirt, plain black pants, I think black shoes, and I want to say he had a plain black tie, but I don't really remember. The other guy, he came in like a full suit, black suit. I think he also had a white shirt. Don't remember if he had a tie or not because I was just focused. He had like this tiny Trinidad and Tobago flag pin that I thought was really cute. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to do a dress rehearsal at least the day before or a few days before. Do your full face of makeup, do your hair, put on your clothes, time this out. You need to know exactly how you're gonna plan your day on the interview. You need to know how long it takes you to get up. You need to know how long it will take you to eat breakfast. You need to know how long it takes you to get ready, because you cannot factor in like you'll be like, okay, I'll get ready in 30 minutes, I'll do real quick, I have my clothes iron, I'll just put it on. No, you need to know, not to be like, shit, what shade of lipstick am I gonna wear? Oh gosh, am I gonna wear black or brown eyeliner? Why didn't I think about this the day before? You have the time now. Think about it. Think about what you're gonna wear. Set it aside so on the day you are not as frustrated, you're not flustered, you're not somehow taking longer, and then you leave the house late and then you end up in a set of traffic when you're going to UE. That brings me to my experience. Unlike other countries, the interview was held at the Center of Language Learning in UE St. Augustine. It's not the embassy. The way the schedule was, there was a lunch break, then one person, and then I was after that person. I was scheduled for 1:15 to 1:30 p.m. So I was like, okay, cool. I was grateful. Like, I woke up like same time, early morning, had enough time to eat my breakfast, go over everything, change, not feel rushed, go there like I can't remember the exact time I reached UE, but I was like, I need to reach at least 12 o'clock. I need to be there super early because you never know what's going to happen. And the one person who was before me after this break, I recognized the name. I had a feeling who it was, and I was pleasantly surprised that it was the person I knew. It was a guy who did a few film courses in the year above me, so it was kind of nice to like see a familiar face and not feel as anxious. So a very quick timeline from that is that I arrived, I go into the building, I see this person, I chat with them a bit. Lunch took more time than they allotted, and so by the time it was my turn to go in, they now called the guy who was in front of me. So instead of 1:15 to 1:30, I went in at 1:30. The coordinator collected me from the waiting room, took my interview ticket, and when we got into the actual interview room, there were 3 other people waiting to see me. There was a Japanese man, the director of CL, and the head of alumni. Even though my whole slot got pushed back, my interview went overtime, and it ended around like 1:53 p.m. So it was long. After that, like, I went in the car. I wasn't driving. My mom drove me, waited for me. We sat down. I freaked out after the interview in the car, and then we went for lunch, and I was good. Interview questions. Honestly, I do not recall the exact questions they asked. So even if you hold me at gunpoint, I cannot tell you any specific information. So this is basically how it went for me. I introduced myself in English, then the coordinator asked me something. Then I moved on to the next panelist, who was a Japanese man. He asked me about 5 questions in Japanese. I really struggled with that. At very low level Japanese. I did indicate that in my application. I did manage to answer a few. I really wish I could tell you what he asked me, but man was talking like full on sentences to me, and I was lost. But then he also asked me some things in English. I answered those. Then the director questioned me a bit, answered her questions. Then the head of alumni questioned me a little bit, answered her question. Then I went back to the coordinator. He asked me some final questions, and that was it. There was no demo lesson or any like ending segment to ask questions. A lot of videos were talking about that you have a segment after to ask them questions and make sure your questions makes you sound super duper interested and stuff. But yeah, for us here, it was like it's supposed to be a very short interview. There is no like time for all of that to be incorporated. So if you can't prepare a questions, because I prepared like about 3 questions, so have 2 like in the back of your mind, but don't focus too much on it if they don't ask, I highly recommend you go and look up potential questions both in English and in Japanese. There are lists online, there are a bunch of YouTube videos, and the point of these are not to have like a rehearsed answer. It is to have the like enough preparation to know how you answer these questions based on your application and your statement of purpose. You don't want to be adding any like information that you did not write about. You do not need a script to answer these questions. Once you have the general idea of what you're supposed to respond like, you can get through this. There are no wrong answers. The pitfall of having these rehearsed answers is that you're going to come across as sounding robotic and a little disingenuous. So an example of that is when I was preparing for my interview, I watched a video and they talked about how they are friends with somebody who does the interviews. And a popular question that could be asked is, what are 3 things you want to bring to Japan to show off your culture? Now, the interviewee was asked this question, but it was kind of worded a little differently. All the interviewer asked is, what would you bring to show off your country? And immediately this person, without like a beat, was like, 3 things I would bring to represent my country. Ba. When like these people have been doing this for years, they know the program, they're running the program, they are aware that there are questions online people can look up and practice and rehearse. By doing that, it comes across as if you're copying and pasting someone's answer, and that could be a red flag for them. And once their like opinion of you sours, you can't unsour it, you know. This video has been long enough, so now we reach to my wonderful wisdom portion. I'm just gonna list it off real quick for y'all. 1. Think positively. It's super easy to get anxious. There was a girl who was giving off this very visible anxious energy, and I needed to protect myself from that. I wasn't rude to her or anything, if you think that what I mean, but know how to protect your energy. If you need to get into a state where you feel confident, your mind is clear, and you're not going to be affected if someone is freaking out on their own. You do not want to be that person. And if you're going to engage with that person that is going to make you anxious, I suggest you like go sit somewhere else. Don't talk to them. It's not rude. This is an interview. Eat breakfast. I know a lot of people like to skip meals and stuff. Don't do that. The last thing you want to do is faint, get a stomach ache, get a headache. I touched on this earlier. Plan your entire day, okay? Plan when you're gonna wake up. Plan when you're gonna brush your teeth. Plan when you're gonna use the toilet. Plan when you're gonna use the shower. Plan when you're gonna put on your clothes. Make sure you eat breakfast. Get out of the house. How much traffic's today? Did they have any accidents? How long it takes to reach UE? How long you wanna sit in your car before you exit and go into the building? Do you need an extra 15 minutes to just sit in your car because you're wearing a suit and you don't want to go and stand in the heat to just walk? Do you need time to go and use the toilet beforehand? Do you need time to go over questions? Plan your day. This has to be completely tailored to you. You don't want anything to catch you off guard. This is a very life-changing interview. It is very important, and treat it as such. Speak clearly and concisely. Please don't overthink it. You have every single answer to this interview. Why? Because this is based off of you. It's based on your application. It's based on your statement of purpose. Every single answer that you need to say, you went through it months ago during your application process. Go over your statement of purpose. They are highly unlikely to throw curveballs and include anything that's not on your application. Wear proper fitting shoes. I think I said it, but my aunt bought me a pair of shoes. She's in the US and I gave her my sneaker size to buy high heels. If you don't know, like me, you're supposed to buy a half size down or a size down, one of the two. So when I was wearing this pair of heels, it almost fell on my foot when I was going to use the bathroom. At least no one saw. So if you're wearing these heels for the first time because you don't wear heels often, wear it around the house. Make sure it's comfortable. Make sure you can walk a few feet in it and not fall down or catch cramp or something. If they ask for the extra photo, bring it. It is not that serious what they actually want it for. There is a summer festival where you take a little piece of paper, you write a wish, you stick your face and you stick it up on a piece of bamboo. Be confident. This could be easier said than done, but please be reminded the fact that were hundreds of people who applied for this position, and you were one of the few that got selected for the interview process. Let's say you know absolutely no Japanese, you didn't study anything from September to now in February, and you have to do the interview process. At least learn to say I do not know if they have the Japanese portion of the interview for you. And my final wisdom to impart on you is that learn a little bit about Japan. This is a country you claim to be so interested in and want to do so many things in, and they might ask you something, so why wouldn't you know anything about Japan? And that's it. It's gonna be a long waiting period of just nothing and anxiety and stress. So for me it was like about 6 weeks of waiting of just nothingness. I was applying for early departures, didn't get you with early departures, I got you with normal departure. So I will be leaving. I'm still not sure that, if you can't tell, this is my normal bedroom. I will be leaving in between July, August. Do not know the exact details yet, but super duper excited. I got my call very recently. It was the 24th of March, 2023. It's been a very long process. But I am so grateful for this opportunity. And I hope a lot of you are able to feel the same feeling I do and see you in Japan in the following year. So keep your head up. You can do this. You're gonna do great. And I really, really hope you have a better understanding of what the JET entire process is like here in Trinidad. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.